Okay, so this is November 3rd, Tuesday at Cops Corner, and we're talking to Wes White from Salinas. And he's running for Salinas City Council, and he can talk more about why he's doing that and how it relates to what happened here with Don't Shoot an Illness and Talk Not Shots and Justice for Sean. So I'm going to let him speak for himself.
Right. So a couple weeks ago there was a guy who actually was diagnosed with mental illness, and it was on the police record as a mental illness, and within 20 seconds the police policy is to go ahead and shoot the guy dead. That seems kind of short-sighted if that's really the intent, is to send 4 guys with guns drawn.
Doesn't that remind you of what happened, I think it was in Cleveland, where that African-American boy had a toy gun and they drove up, within 2 seconds they'd shot him dead?
Timmy Rice, absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Man, and yeah, that's absolutely kind of, you know, the unpreparedness and lack of follow-through of policy. If they already you know, I had this guy marked as someone with mental illness, and they're supposed to direct that differently.
Right. You know, so you think that because they'd already marked a mental illness, they were more likely to be violent than if they hadn't have marked him as a mentally ill person?
I think the shoot first and ask questions later, or consider it justifiable because they didn't follow and comply, is probably where the policies are having problems to begin with.
Right.
So
talk more about this shoot first and ask questions later.
Oh man. Well, that's our policy, right? Well, we investigated ourselves and we found we did nothing wrong.
Right. So there's no accountability.
Let's start addressing the policies.
Right.
Let's start revamping the policies to where.
Well, I mean, what good is the policy if the police don't follow it?
Well, no, you can make, if you make it broad enough and you don't specify something, then,
but what I'm saying is just changing policies aren't going to, if the police just ignore the rule of law and they do whatever they want anyways, then even a policy
now
doesn't
you're talking about attitude.
Right.
And how do you change people's
the culture of violence. The culture.
Right. Oh, well, almost every other civilized country will disarm people with nets.
Can you name some of them, like England, Sweden?
Yeah, I saw a, gosh, I want to say like Cambodian.
Cambodia?
Country. Well, somewhere over there, Far East.
Right.
And it was a guy with a long machete, and they just kind of shot a net at him.
Right.
And that kind of, tripped him up.
So the technology is there.
Yeah. Right, and the guy probably didn't even end up with a bruise.
Right.
Maybe a scrape for hitting the ground.
Right.
But not inflicted by the law enforcement.
Right.
And that I think is where we're severely lacking. We have a mentality where it's like an abusive parent, and you learn to live that way. So you grow up thinking it's not so bad. My parents hit me.
So it's a cycle of violence, basically.
Yeah.
And you think that happens when the police abuse the community? The people in the community are going to abuse them, and then it's going to reinforce the cycle of abuse?
By provoking a response and saying, see, the community is being mean to me. That's why I have to shoot them.
So it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, it's a setup. It's a setup for failure.
Right.
And it's
but in a way, maybe on the police's part, isn't it a failure because they're getting what they want, because they get more excuses for more military hardware, for more money, for officers.
You know that the Baltimore riot, right? With Freddie Gray?
Right, yeah.
There was they shut down the buses at like 2 o'clock, right as kids were getting out of school, and they blocked them from being able to leave.
Right.
So here's everybody stuck downtown, and then the cops are actually there's helicopter video footage.
There's a
of
setup.
The cops throwing rocks at the group.
Right.
So then the group's like, what the, so they start throwing rocks back.
And now they're the perpetrators.
And you know what? The only piece that gets on the air is them throwing rocks.
Right. But it did get outed by later by public records requests and some news organizations that was the true story, what you're telling now.
Right.
Not the story that the...
Right, but it was provoked.
It was provoked.
And so then it becomes justifiable because your attitude was to provoke people into a situation that
But think of it, if you basically oppress people so long, at some point they're going to fight back, and they're going to be angry, and they're going to be filled with righteous anger, and then you say, oh, they disrespect the police, they're a danger to us, they're making war on the police. Well, the police have been making war on the people for, you know, like 40 or 50 years, and then when people get angry, suddenly it's like, oh, the police are in danger, the police are being abused, rather than the other way around.
Well, you know, I've heard that story, Blue Lives Matter, and but yet, you know, that's a uniform, that's not a skin color.
Right, that's true. That's
true. Like socioeconomic status is more to the core of what we're talking about, because
can you talk more about socioeconomic status?
Think about a police recruit in Salinas.
Right.
Is $72,000.
Right.
Okay. They look at other people making $15,000, $18,000 a year, and they go, "I'm worth 5 of you, man."
Right.
I got a badge.
So basically, the devaluing of people's lives because of socioeconomic status.
Well, you know, the Pledge of Allegiance says, "With liberty and justice for all," but the harsh reality of America is only if you can afford it.
Right. You know that I was reading something by Derek Jensen where he talks about civilization. He says in our societies, our so-called civilized societies, it's the only place where basically to actually just exist, you have to pay money, and when you don't pay money to actually just exist, then we use violence of the state against you. I mean, we use violence against you just for not being able to pay to exist on the planet.
Well, somehow we've equated money to being a content of character and the wealth of character.
Right.
Because, you know, without it you can't subsist. And then unfortunately, like you said, we've created a society that says, well, if you're not productive and you're not making money, then you're worthless.
You're like, it's like you're just extra baggage, or you know, you're like it's like Hitler said, you're a parasite on society, like the Jews. You know, the Jewish problem. The Jews were just a parasite, and he also classified homeless people and disabled people who were also euthanized under the Nazi regime.
I think Hitler was jealous because Jewish people are very resourceful.
But I mean, I'm not talking about Jews. I'm talking about disabled people and homeless people. Hitler also killed a lot of homeless people. They were executed.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they were
and mentally ill people
because they couldn't even stick up for themselves.
Right, right.
You know, I mean, Jewish people were rich and they were able to stick up for themselves.
Right.
And they were, you know, very careful.
But I'm saying it's all that demonization of the disenfranchised other.
Yes.
You know,
yeah. Well, and that's, you know, that goes back to school days, right? We have teachers that say, no, you're supposed to share. You need to get along with people.
Right.
You need to make up. You know, if you say you're sorry.
Right.
All these things that we grow up learning when we're in preschool and early childhood education. But by the time we get 3rd, 4th grade, 6th grade, we realize, no, these teachers, they're not practicing what they preach. You know, look at our parents, look at our friends, look at our neighbors.
Right.
They're not practicing those attitudes and habits. I'm getting hurt because I'm actually trying to.
And especially in communities of color and communities of resistance, like Native American communities and
isn't that the
Latino
the overarching just behave, just comply, just follow the rules. Yeah, if you just do good in school, you'll make lots of money.
But that's kind of a white privilege point of view, that if you follow the rules, then everything is going to be okay. Because basically white people generally, up to the last few years, weren't really attacked by the police unless they became threats to the dominant system.
Yeah, well, you know, Julian Assange is certainly, and Snowden have blown it off a lot of that, you know?
Right.
Because look at that, you know,
and also Bradley or Chelsea Manning.
Yeah, you know, and they're actually true patriots, and yet they're considered terrorists.
Right.
Enemies of the state.
And you know that basically activists are considered soft terrorists by the FBI.
Say that again.
FOIA requests by the ACLU and others have shown that the FBI profiles activists as soft terrorists.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So basically, all of us here are considered top terrorists by the Homeland Security and the FBI.
It's a power scheme pyramid.
Right.
You know, we've got a few people in charge. We've got an oligarchy. We've got you know, media stations, 2,000 or 3,000 newspapers, but they're owned by 6 companies.
Right.
You know, so a thing called Associated Press and all the talking heads of news media, you know, they all say the same exact thing. like, because it's scripted.
What do you think alternative media's role is in this? You know, the alternative media?
Alternative media.
Yeah, like Alternate and Common Ground and Counterpunch and Center for Investigative Reporting, ProPublica.
Yeah, Indigenous Peoples of America. Yeah, there's.
And also, you know, like there's a Native American newspaper called I forget the name of it, but they do stories about Native American issues and stuff. It's called Tribal News or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are, like, you know, alternative sources of the media that people have more access to because of the internet.
Well, but do they though? Because, you know, it also takes connections.
Right.
90% of everything in life is networking. Who you know.
Right.
So unless somebody's really keyed into it, you know, we're still at like a Timothy Leary stage. You know, tune in, turn on, and drop out. You know, where that's just a foreign.
Well, I want to make something that might make you feel better. When I put videos like this up on Facebook and I blast them out, it costs me like $15. I can blast them out to like 60, boost them to 60,000 people all around the world.
Yeah.
All these people from Latin America, from the Mideast, from Pakistan, from India, even from Southeast Asia. They're all seeing what's happening in Santa Cruz and in this area of Salinas and all this, and they're seeing these articles from Indy Bay and these videos. So with just like $15, you can reach, like, you know, with the internet, you can, and Facebook, you can reach 60,000 people and target it towards them. And these are people who understand oppression, and they're all watching Santa Cruz. They're busy with Facebook boosting. I can reach the circulation of a paper the size of the Santa Cruz Mercury.
Okay.
So I want to let you know that there are all alternatives that are out there that allow the people to be heard. And basically, even though Facebook doesn't intend to be used this way, they can be used this way.
Yeah. Well, you know, and if we can flip it like Othello, you know, to where people are, it becomes mainstream to care about other people.
Right.
You know, because that's capitalism to the core. Just worry about yourself. Don't worry about anybody else.
Right.
And you know, yet we keep raising the prices on everything, right? So then a bigger gap with the homeless people. Also,
so you think that basically we're ripe for a revolution of some kind?
I hope not. I really just.
Well, I mean, ripe for some kind of radical transformation of society. I don't want to call it a revolution necessarily.
Well, you know, if we could do it without violence, that'd be the best way. You know, understanding.
Oh yeah, violence doesn't.
Certainly
but I mean,
it has to be compelling. Look at we consider ourselves a Christian nation. And
well, are we really a Christian nation?
Exactly. If we really want to be that way, then we need to start owning up to it. And start.
But even calling us a Christian nation really is kind of, you know, is defeats the whole idea of the Constitution to separate church and state. Now, a lot of people here are Buddhists. Okay. They're Muslims.
Well, no. There was it wasn't an abolition of religion.
Okay.
It was a separation to where.
But I mean, there's a lot of people who aren't Christians in this country.
The papal people could just.
But I'm saying, why don't we call ourselves a compassionate nation instead of a Christian nation?
Well, I wish we could say that we are mature, ethical, and morally responsible.
Right.
You know, but that is what Christianity is supposed to mean.
Right, exactly, yeah.
You know, but yet it's always, you know, oh gosh, my heart really goes out to you, but I don't have any time right now. You know, I just can't really back it. I don't know enough about it. You know, and they always find a way to backpedal out of actually doing something.
Right.
Even in the face of, man, that's heartbreaking.
Right.
You know, but nobody ever has the time.
So is there any way that you want to say, and just basically tie it down to what's happening in Salinas and Monterey, and, you know, what's happening in your hometown, how this relates to your own struggle to be on the city council?
Well, as far as this is a national, global struggle of people in authority and those who are subjugated. Just like in school or parenting, the kids, the students do not deserve to be abused. And just because you're in a position of power and authority doesn't mean necessarily that you're right just because you say so.
Right.
You know, you're supposed to be taking care of people. That's the whole point of public service.
Is that you're supposed to serve the public?
You don't have to necessarily spoil them or waste tons of money on them, but the attitude needs to be there.
Right,
you know, the bedside manner.
So it sounds like if you get to the city council, you're going to be a true public servant, not basically someone who serves yourself from the public trough, but you're going to be serve the public.
Right. Well, and my ideas would not even be geared toward, oh, let's spend money. My idea would be, let's change your attitude.
Right.
Because you know what, the community's got plenty of money. If we could spend, you know, $50 billion on the presidential election, don't tell me we don't got money.
The money is there. The money, there's more than enough money for everything. This thing of there's not enough money is just a cop-out.
Right, right. Yeah, that's how we spend it. It really is.
It's a matter of priorities. It's a matter of priorities.
You know, there's an awful lot of catering that gets done, and the city gets took care of proper. Because guess what? They're union made. They're union backed.
Right.
And union is going to make sure they get their dues.
Right.
Prevailing.
But it's always interesting with these cities and stuff. They can always find the money for the things that they really want, like stadiums and and desal plants.
That's a business deal. That is a business deal.
Right.
That's going to create jobs. That's going to create tax revenue. That's a business deal.
Right.
So they're totally happy with that.
So in one word, what would be your highest priority if you were elected as a city council person in Salinas? What would be priority number one, or what would be the first three priorities? What would be the top three priorities of your servitude to the people?
You know, attitude of how people are treated.
Right.
You know, from positions of authority.
And how would you do that? By listening to the people, by opening, trying to make government more transparent and open.
More like probably having frank, open, somewhat confrontational, just constructive criticism conversations.
Right.
Because as a public, we can't even agree on what terms mean.
Right.
You know, and which creates that bias and discrimination as well.
Right.
And the only way that we're really going to root it out is to get people who have those discriminations and biases to relent on those positions.
Right.
And the only way is with fact and word associations and meanings of words.
Right.
I think is a good place to start. And of course, no matter what, it's going to be a lot of arguing because making definitions work and be.
Right. So you're talking about creating a whole new language to talk about stuff.
No.
What I mean is
reinforcing the words that
I mean, better communication. You're talking about opening channels of communication.
Well, you know, they say, oh, homeless people, they're all drug addicts and mental illness, they're all crazy and they're all lazy and you know, they just want to use us.
Right.
Okay. That seems very stereotypical, and especially to extrapolate that to the point of saying we need to get rid of all homeless people.
Right.
You know, because they're all drug addicts and criminals. Well, did you see them do a crime?
Right.
Well, then why don't you bust that person for being a criminal?
Right.
Don't bust them for just sitting.
Right.
And call them a criminal for it.
Right.
That's open discrimination.
Right. It's like creating criminals out of non-criminals.
Right. Well, you know, just like in school, the popular people needed people to pick on to feel better about themselves.
Right.
And that is a huge piece.
So it's all about
social
power. It's about power and control.
It's our self-esteem, but it's our social order.
Right.
Because we've been made to isolate so much. Because we do have deep dark secrets that we need.
And that's part of